Hey everyone, it's Eddie Campos here with RE/MAX Preferred Associates. We're in beautiful downtown Sylvania and we're at the Chandler Cafe. Let's go inside and see who our guest is today. Hey everyone, it's Eddie Campos here with RE/MAX Preferred Associates. This is episode 65 with Coffee with Eddie. And we're back with Dr. Adam Fineske here with Sylvania Schools. I'd like to ask you the second toughest question as far as school superintendents are concerned. Ohio school report cards.
Yeah.
They've changed several times over the past 10 years. How do you keep hitting the target when the target keeps moving on you?
Well, it's a challenge, but one that we're up to. State report cards, from my view, is only one way that we measure our school district. It's a way that has changed over the years. If you recall, there might have, in the past we had ratings, whether you were excellent, effective, you had a word.
Right.
And in the past few years, the state has changed it to letter grades, almost like a report card we used to get when we were in school.
Right.
And so that has brought about new challenges. I think what's really important is really looking how hard it is to achieve those top grades as a school district. It can be more challenging for larger school districts like ourselves. We're the second largest school district in Northwest Ohio. We have a very diverse school district and a growing school district. So when you look at the report card, the state says if you do everything you should, you do everything that they expect, you should get a C. If you're a little bit above and you get just above, you're a B. And if you're at the maximum amount that you can perform, 2 years of growth beyond 1 year of growth, which is that C, you'll get an A. So that's a tough task for a diverse school district. That's a tough task for any school district.
Especially when you also have a lot of eyes watching you.
You do, and I think we all know, usually our parents didn't want us to get a C on the grade card.
Right.
But if the state says that's what you should get,
right.
That can be challenging. So that speaks a little bit to the metric that's used and how those grades are determined. Here in Sylvania, we are pretty proud of our progress. We have all A's in the area of student growth in all of our populations. So we have met that 2 years of expected growth.
That's amazing.
We also have an overall B, and for our district, the size that we are, the diversity that we have, the challenges that we have with growth, we're pretty proud of that and to have that grade. But again, I think the report card is really just one way that we look at our schools. There's a lot of other factors that come into play.
Sure. Kids that are more involved in community service today than they used to be.
Over 30,000 hours of community service from our high school students last year.
That's amazing.
We graduate anywhere from 550 to 570 seniors for Northview and Southview. Last year, they earned $16 million in college scholarships. We had 92% of our graduates go to a 4-year institution. And moving on to college at that level. And it's pretty exciting to see the things that are happening at our schools that really help kind of grade our schools in a different way than just that state report card.
Yeah, there's not necessarily metrics for that.
There isn't, but those are points of pride that we use a lot to really evaluate our kids really meeting our mission. Our mission in Sylvania is that we want to prepare our students to be lifelong learners and engaged citizens.
Absolutely.
Are they learning? Are they lifelong learners? And are they engaged in their community? Those are things we evaluate too differently from the state report card.
So I know from my personal experience of sitting on a scholarship committee, we're not looking at just are they a captain of a particular sport. We're not looking for necessarily what their SAT scores or grade was. Is how involved are they in the community and what have they done to help participate so that when they do get out of school, they can continue on with that kind of mission.
On any college application that you look at, there are multiple questions that a student has to answer. Of course, their GPA and their ACT score are important, but not one time did they really ask, how did your school do on the state report card? They ask, how many community service hours do you have? What activities and clubs were you involved in? Were you an athlete? These are the things that matter when our kids graduate high school and move on with their life. And that's what we're here to prepare them to do in Sylvania.
Well, it's awesome to see everything that you guys are doing here in Sylvania Schools to get them prepared. It makes for a better community overall.
Thank you. We have great kids. We have supportive parents. Those two things go together and you see results.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for tuning in again. This has been episode 65 with Coffee with Eddie. We'll see you next week.